Happy Earth Day. Kind of apropos that we're having tonight's show, isn't it? I didn't plan that at all, by the way. I didn't even know it was Earth Day today till Sandy just said something. So, without further ado, let me get on with this pre-show disclaimer. Everything that you will hear out of my mouth tonight is my truth and my truth only. I don't speak for anybody else that's going to be on the mic tonight, and I don't speak for any of you. This is my truth. You can choose to believe what you believe or whatever, okay? So, just so you know, I'm not trying to twist anybody's arm. I'm not trying to convince anybody. If somebody wants to try to debunk anything that I have to say, you're more than welcome to send me a note, and I'll get you added up on Skype and add you into the call. It's going to be 2 hours, so you've got plenty of time. If anybody wants to add me on Skype right now, go to your Skype and type in Boiler Room Radio. It's all one word, and send me a request. I'll get it. I'll get you added up, and we'll get you on the show. So, without further ado, let me add in my regular peeps. Here comes Mr. David F. Town Bala. Mr. Lance Musser decided not to go out and drink beer tonight, so he'll join us as well. Purple Chick said she was going to be a little late because she's doing some stuff. Kim Collier wants to call in, so I'll add her to the call as well. And Charlie is still indisposed, so he's listening from afar. Maybe not right at this very moment because I think he's out with some friends, but he'll listen to it after a while. So, good evening, Charlie. Missing you tonight, buddy. Come on, you knuckleheads. Answer the phones. La-di-da-di, la-di-da-di. Is there anybody in the chat room right now that would like to try to start debunking the flat earth off the bat? If you are, let's go ahead and get those things typed into the room, into the chat room. Try not to make it scroll by too awful fast so that I have a chance to grab a hold of him. So, unavailable. What the F does that mean? Doink. Okay, you knuckleheads, answer the freaking Skypey. There's Lance.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Thanks for answering on the second time.
Yeah, man. Yeah, but I couldn't answer the first time for some reason.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There's Kim, so she's on too. Come on, David. Come on, David. I know he's probably not going to have a whole lot to say tonight, but
I would be surprised if he came on.
I think he wanted to add in. He said he said on the show Wednesday that he wanted to add in, so said he was going to add in and listen. So, all right. Let's see. I just put it out to the chat room that if anybody wants to try to debunk flat Earth, we can go ahead and type the questions into the room, and we'll try to get to them as quickly as possible. So, actually, I'm going to go ahead and just drop my Twitter because I'm not going to be over there reading any headlines tonight. It's going to be all flat Earth all the time. Okay, Lance Musser, we're going to throw it into your courtroom right now because you are the one that converted me from being a globetard into a flat Earth individual. So I want to toss it out to you. Give me, right off the top of your head, give me the number one thing in your mind that proves that we're on a flat stationary plane.
Admiral Byrd.
You can expound on that, please.
Oh, do I need to expand on that? I was reading about the inner Earth theory. The trip that he did, there's a lot of noise in the background there.
Yeah, I think that's Kim. She's probably in her kitchen.
I actually was just getting the dog some water in the kitchen. How did you know that, Jimmy?
Because your phone wasn't on mute.
Right.
Okay. Now I know what to do in the future. I never thought to do that.
You're a woman, so I'm guessing that you're not going to be in the shitter on the phone with it not muted. So I guessed, there's two places in the house that usually have a faucet. One's the shitter and one's the kitchen. I went for the kitchen.
Still.
Okay.
I found that fascinating.
Well, okay. Go ahead, Lance.
So that was my awakening moment when I just started watching more videos and reading more about that adventure where it was back in the 40s or something like that. And if you look at a globe and you accept science that you measure it on a globe, Antarctica is about 6,000 miles in circumference on the globe.
On the globe.
On the globe.
Right.
If you look at Antarctica at the bottom of the Earth, it's 6,000 miles around. It's about the same size of, I guess, Australia, on a map. So if you go around it with a circumference, it's about 6,000 miles.
Right.
So then how in his voyage, when he was trying to find the edge or wherever, he was trying to sail all the way around it to get back to the same point, did he go 56,000 miles?
Very good question, Lance.
And if you look at the circumference of the quote-unquote globe, it's about 60,000 miles.
Right.
So that got me digging more and more because how do you answer that? The man said in his things, because I've read them. I mean, I've watched all of his movies, read his notes and stuff.
All of his interviews. Yep.
All of his interviews. He sailed around Antarctica, never made it back, never found the edge, never found a way in.
Never crossed the same point twice.
And his travels lasted 56,000 miles.
And he never passed the same point twice. Yep.
So if you look at the map of the United Nations,
which is a flat Earth map, by the way.
Which is a flat Earth map. So if you look at that in the old Peary's maps,
33 segments. There are
the Peary's maps, which is what they all used to navigate around the globe forever and ever. Or not that map, but I mean, it shows that Antarctica was all the way around it. The same as the UN map. So I just started putting 2 and 2 together, and I let my brain believe what my eyes were actually seeing.
For the first time.
I mean, I didn't accept it. I grew up with the big blue marble. Remember that show back in the 70s? I grew up with that show. I mean, I grew up with a globe in my room. But there's just things that I can't explain, and that one being one of them.
I was a space buff, man. I mean, I still am. I've got, a huge pair of binoculars that I look at the night sky with. I've got a great big telescope that I look at the night sky with. I've got a huge camera with a huge lens, a zoom lens on it that I look at the night sky with, and I take all kinds. You people have seen them on my Facebook wall. All kinds of pictures of the moon. I love it. I love it. So
the invention of the telescope.
This is a serious passion of mine.
The invention of the telescope and the airplane are both indicator. I mean, those should have been your wakening up, because the accepted theory is when you're standing on the edge of a beach and you watch a ship sail off into the horizon till you can't see it anymore, it's because it went over the curvature of the Earth. I mean, that's what they say. That's why you can't see it anymore.
But then you grab a pair of binoculars.
Until you pull out a pair of binoculars, and then it comes into view and you can actually see the hull, but you can't see it in your eyes.
All the way to the water
line. And then
it
goes out of view in binoculars, and then you pull out your telescope, and you can still see the ship and the bottom of the hull.
All the way to the water.
Even though it is already gone over the scientifically accepted curvature of the Earth, that ship should be almost a mile below my view site. And it's not. So why?
Exactly. Willow's Wind Addy is asking, how do you explain the GoPro videos that show the curve of the Earth? Because they use a fisheye lens.
The lens is curved. The lens is curved.
All GoPros are made stock with a fisheye lens. They actually sell a device that you can mount to the front of your GoPro that will correct that. And there are many, many, many videos online that have flat lenses. One of them I'm going to bring up tonight.
Well, the Red Bull guy, the guy
up to
that jumped,
121,000 feet. Right.
Was a flat.
Alex Baumgartner.
Right.
He used GoPros on the outside of his ship and stuff, but when he opened the door and they showed the view from the inside, that inside camera was a flat lensed camera, and you can see that it looked completely different. It was flat. The horizon was flat. Everything. So,
and that's why they call it a horizon, because it's horizontal.
It's flat.
It's not a curvature. It's horizontal. That's why it's called a horizon.
Exactly.
And the horizon will always go up to your eye level, just like AK said. And no matter how far you go up on a mountain, the horizon is always at level. It's always at your level. It will always rise to your level.
Water always seeks to be level, and it will not stop flowing until it reaches its level. Water is the number, well, it's not the number one thing for me, but it is one of the top 5. Yeah, okay. You can't get water to stick to the outside of a ball. It's just not possible. Physics will teach you that. Any kind of science class that you want to go into, they can show you, take a tennis ball outside, dunk it in a bucket, spin it around, and see if you can get the water to stick to it. According to science, anything that's a globe that's spinning, anything that's a round object, a sphere that's spinning, will create a gravitational pull, and that's complete bullshit.
Yeah, gravity doesn't exist. Density and weight do, proven, but gravity does not exist.
Gravity has never been proven. Not once. Not once.
Even the guy who invented it, was it Copernicus or whoever it was?
No, Copernicus was the one that came up with the round Earth theory 500 years ago.
Right. He even said in his studies, because it's just sound bites that people use now, but the full thing is, even he said in his thing, this probably isn't true.
Jeannie, you have never seen the curvature of the Earth with your bare eyes. Never.
You can't.
You cannot. You cannot. That's an impossibility. I don't care where you were. I don't care what you were looking at. You never, ever saw a curve on the Earth.
Next time you get up in a plane, look out the window. It's flat.
The plane windows actually add a little bit of a curve to it because they are curved as well to match the fuselage of the plane.
If it was curved, and that's, we'll talk about planes and stuff, but a plane would steadily have to be flying at a downward angle to not fly straight off the globe if it was truly a round globe. I mean, it has to be flat because that's what an altimeter. I mean, that's how a plane flies straight is. It's basing it off of a flat ground.
A gyroscope will not work on a moving ball.
It will not. So a
gyroscope is scientific proof that we live on a flat, stable plane. Okay, here's my number. Well, no, I'm gonna go ahead and jump over to Kim. She claims to be a flat earther now, or she claims to be very interested in the theory because she found this whole thing about a year ago and has been looking into it ever since. So we'll give her a little stead in here. What are your number? Let's say the three top things that make you think that the Earth is flat and stable.
Definitely, the Admiral Byrd was the first thing that I was studying Antarctica. So,
AK.
It was about Admiral Byrd, BYRD.
Gravity doesn't exist, AK. It does not. Gravity has never been proven.
It was him.
It's never been proven. It's just a theory. Anyway, go ahead, Kim.
Because the same gravity that keeps water to the Earth allows a bird to fly and me to lift my leg off the ground.
A bird, a butterfly, for Christ's sake. Butterflies weigh less than an ounce?
Don't think so. If gravity is that strong to hold all the water down, then why can I lift my leg off?
Right.
You can't.
If gravity existed, we wouldn't be able to jump, let alone stand up. So.
Yeah, and think of it this way. I don't know, kind of like a parallel thought to what you were just talking about. When I was a kid, one of the ways we used to entertain ourselves was we would store away and we would put our arms down to our sides, and then we would press our arms up on either side of our body, up on the door jamb, just like straight up. Like if you have your hands down at your sides, just lift them straight up to where the door jamb is. And you press on that for the longest time until you're exhausted. And then when you walk away from the door jamb, your arms are so exhausted from purposely straining against that wood, they just lift right up into the air. Like right. Seriously, where did that go? I mean, where'd the gravity go when your arms were exhausted? I swear, you've got to try it. If you just stand in a doorway and you just have your arms hanging at your side, naturally your palms will curve in toward your legs. So just like that, just with your back of your hand up on the door jamb, lift your arms up like you're getting ready to, just lift them up.
Yep.
And then press against the door jamb with the back of each of your hands as hard as you can for as long as you can. That takes all the muscles in your arms.
In high school, yeah.
And then after you do that, no, this is grade school. But yeah, after you do that, when you walk away from the door jamb and you just drop your arms down, I swear they're so exhausted they just they lift right up.
Right.
The gravity disappears.
That's muscle memory, but
muscle memory. I know that is muscle memory, but still.
But yeah,
it was the trips.
If gravity existed and it held billions of gallons of water to the face of the Earth, then how do helicopters lift off? How do planes fly? How do birds fly? How do butterflies? How do flies fly? It's mind-boggling that I've been fooled for as long as I had been,
Me too. I feel that way too. But I didn't know about anything until really I started studying Antarctica with Admiral Byrd. So when he went up there and he talked a lot. I saw that video footage where he was on some show, and then there was some stuff about what he had written. Yeah. So I found it very interesting. That's when I found out that the Germans had done all those, case studies and, had all kinds of stuff going on up there.
Yeah.
Big stuff. Yeah. And then we took it over, and it's been going on since and sin. So then you got all this other stuff. And then how could it not be? I mean, how could it not be a flat earth? That's exactly what it is. And all those rotten people that are destroying all the rest of us, that's probably where they've got all that, everything ready for them.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's very nice.
Doomslayer wants to know, why do GPS satellites calculate position based on a sphere in order to perform accurately?
Because there's no satellites.
There's no satellites.
A GPS system.
Everything's ground-based and bounced off of the firmament that's up there.
Antennas. It's all antennas.
It's transmissions that are bounced off they know it's up there. Operation Fishbowl, the government tried to crack it with a nuclear weapon, and they couldn't get the job done. So
when they triangulate your phone, they always tell you that they do it by towers.
Yep.
Duh. That's how they triangulate you, is towers. Yeah. They don't say we GPS'd them and found out where it was. We triangulated them with the towers that he's binging off of, and that's where he is.
Right. You can make toilet spin either way. John's throwing out a bunch of, hey, J-Rod, what's up, man? If you want to add into the call, brother, just hit me up with a message on Skype, and I'll get you added in. Okay, let's see. Larry says bullshit. Okay.
Of course. Many people are.
Yeah. If you think it's bullshit, Larry, then all you have to do is throw something in the room that I can't debunk. Throw something in there that I can't debunk. Or I'll tell you what.
It just makes me wonder,
this one. Hang on a second.
Why didn't they tell us?
Hang on a second. What? Because I'll tell you. We'll get into that toward the end of the show.
Yeah, I'll get into it. I know why.
Here's the number one thing that you people you look at every single night that you can. Every single night that there are no clouds in the sky. I bet every single one of you goes out and looks up at the stars at least once. Okay? Now, according to science, we're flying through space around the globe at
the sun.
Around the sun, which is supposed to be a globe too, by the way. At 66,600 miles an hour, which is an interesting number that they decided to come up with. 66,600 miles an hour. And according to science, the sun is hurtling through space at over 50,000 kilometers an hour. So, and we're dragging along behind it, right? It's going through space like a comet, and we're dragging along behind it with a bunch of other planets and shit, and we're all spinning around in circles and whatnot. Okay, so if that were a fact, then how is it that every star that you've ever seen in your entire life, stars that they've been guiding ships from for centuries, how are they all still in the same spot?
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to guide yourself if the stars were always moving. You wouldn't be able to make a sextant if the stars weren't always constant.
Impossible. There's actually time-lapse footage.
Space forever. How would anyone have known this, though? Just like those videos showed, no one was taught this stuff. They were taught about the globe from the moment they got into school, pretty before they even went to school.
They were, exactly. They were brainwashed from the very beginning. Yep. There is time-lapse footage of the North Star over the North Pole that lasts for days and days and days and days, and that star never moved. It stays right in that same position, and all the other ones circle around it. So anybody that wants to believe we're still on a globe after knowing that fact.
And there's plenty of time-lapse footage of people that have just put a camera right up there and filmed it, and it all goes around in the same spot.
Yep. So just knowing that fact and knowing that you can go on YouTube anytime you want to and find the footage of that, if you watch that clip and still think that we're on a globe hurtling through space, I got nothing for you after this. I mean, we can go ahead and stop the show now at half hour in, because that
it was saying is
one of the things undeniable proof that we live on a flat stationary plane. That simple thing, the stars in the sky, is undeniable and
we are a snow globe.
The beings that were here, we already know were well more advanced than us, just based on archaeological things, the stuff in Egypt. There were beings here well more advanced than us. We can all agree on that.
I agree.
Larry says
if they were so much more advanced than us, and then they would know. And for millennia, it was a flat Earth till somebody with no way to prove it, because the balloons nothing had been invented that could go up. This guy creates a theory of it being round,
right,
with absolutely zero evidence, because the equipment did not exist for him to make that call. And now that the technology does exist, You're being lied to.
Exactly, Larry. You're
So
telling
right
me.
there,
You're telling me I haven't proven. You're telling me I haven't thrown out any facts. So why don't you hit me with a fact? He's trying to say that the star atlases are updated constantly. That's probably because we get bigger telescopes and we can see a little bit deeper into the void, and you can see new twinkly thing, right? But have you ever seen a picture of the Earth from NASA? Nope, you haven't. Not one.
Oh, that was
Not
another
one.
thing that proved it for me. The fake pictures. That just really irritated me to death when I saw that. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it.
There are videos.
All those NASA pictures. Each and every single
videos
one is
on
a little
YouTube.
different. Everything's different. The countries are different size.
Different sizes,
It's
yeah.
ridiculous.
Some of them
It's
only
just
show the
ridiculous.
United States, and diverging solar rays coming through the clouds. That's plain enough proof that the sun is not 93 million miles away. It's just not. It's not. The Sea of Tranquility on the moon is only supposed to be about 54 miles across, right? So you're trying to tell me that you can look up in the night sky at this glowing ball and you can see something 238,000 miles away that's only 54 miles across? I call bullshit.
X-Doom, it's because it's the yin and the yang. The sun, if you look at the sun and moon's movements, it's a yin and a yang sign. That's how they rotate over a flat plane. So they are farther away from different stuff at different times, and that's what causes seasons, because it does get farther away. But if it was truly 90 million, 2 million miles away or whatnot.
93 million.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was that bright, and it made it as bright as it is during the day, then do you think just turning away from the sun, it wouldn't light up all of the quote-unquote space behind the Earth too?
Right.
And you can say, oh, that's what it's glancing off of the moon and stars. No, it's not.
No.
It would never be dark if the sun was really that bright and that far away. It would never be dark. Never.
All the rays of light would hit the Earth at the exact same angle across the entire solar-facing disk, and that doesn't happen either. You can look up through the clouds and watch the solar rays diverge and come to a central point past the clouds in a little V, right? There's people.
Larry needs to go watch Eric
mathematicians.
a couple of Eric Dubé's videos for an hour and a half, and then come back.
There's several mathematicians that have videos on YouTube where they actually triangulated where the sun was in the sky. They went to different spots on the planet and they looked at the solar telemetry, how far it was in the sky, what degree of angle, what degree of angle it was in the sky, and at the same time of day in different parts of the globe, and they ran their little shit in their AutoCAD on their computers, and they triangulated how far it is up in the sky. It's a little over 3,000 miles up, and it's about 56 miles across. So, you can keep throwing all your shit that you've been taught all your fucking life and just decided to be drug around by the nose and believe everything that you're told.
If it was really spinning as fast as it is, then why can a hot air balloon go straight up? It shouldn't be able to. The ground, as soon as you get off the ground, the world should start spinning under you if it's going that fast. Airplanes would not be able to land on a globe spinning at
1,000 miles an hour,
many thousands of miles. Yeah. The airports would always be moving. You would not be able to land a plane. I mean, you can't grasp that. How can you
taught astronomy? Hang on a second, everybody. We've all just been proven false and fake because Larry taught astronomy. Dude, if you don't like what you're listening to, go the fuck away. It's just that simple, man. There's hundreds of thousands of other channels on YouTube that you can go listen to right now instead of wasting your time with me.
Anything. It just proves
it doesn't prove a fucking thing.
Stars and stuff.
Yeah, you can look through a piece of glass at a star. I bet I got a bigger telescope than you got sitting out there in my fucking shed. Fucking trolls. I don't have credentials, motherfucker. You should have been here at the very beginning of the show when I said this is my truth. I'm not trying to tell anybody what to believe or how to believe or what. This is a discussion about the flat earth. These truths are my truth because this is my show. This is my fucking channel. If you don't like it, go find someplace else to troll. You can call me false all you want to, brother. What you eat don't make me shit. I couldn't give 2 squirts of piss what you believe. Go ahead.
I'll second that. I heard that I read today or yesterday something about the moon. They did like some kind of little study on the moon. Mm-hmm. So they were saying how when you're out walking your dog, whatever, the sun hot, and then you go under a tree and it's shade from the sun, so you're cool. Right. So then they did a thing with the moon when something about taking the temperature in full moonlight, being under a tree and not having moonlight around. I want to say that it was actually colder when they were not under the tree.
Who's trying
so
to?
The actual moonlight was colder, right?
Who's trying?
If you're
That's
in
a good
Miami,
just a little tidbit.
if you accept the curvature of the Earth, then how in Miami on a clear day can you see 90 miles to the Bahama? Because you can. It's proven.
Yep. You can see
No, 'cause
across
I've
Lake
been to
And you
the
Michigan.
shouldn't
Bahamas,
be
and
able
I grew
to.
up on Key Biscayne, so
You know,
no,
how
you can't.
how can you see a place in Ireland from Scotland when you shouldn't be able to because of the curve of the Earth? You shouldn't
Right.
be able to, but it's proven that you can.
Right.
So you shouldn't be able to see that if you accept the curve of the Earth of a 6-inch drop every 1 mile. You should not be able to see something 90 miles away.
6 inches per mile squared. So 2
Right.
miles is 36 inches.
Yeah, not to mention
3 miles is whatever 36 times 36 is. So, you know,
I mean, that's the
6
big
inches
one.
per mile
Explain how science is accepted. We've all accepted the curvature of the Earth, that stuff disappears over the horizon. Then how can you see the Bahamas from Miami? And how can you see
and
Ireland
how
from
does a
Scotland?
plane
You
land?
should not be able to.
no, not refraction. Dawn.
It's not refraction.
There has to be a absolutely spectacular atmospheric conditions for any kind of refraction to take place. And we're not even talking about
The pilots know. All the
from
pilots must
you can
know
see
about
across
this.
Lake Michigan from the other shore. You know, from Indiana Dunes, you can see all the way across Lake Michigan. You can see the shoreline all the way to the fucking ground. If the curvature was what they say it is in science, that's not possible. It's not
So
possible.
again, and they corrected me on the 8 inches.
Oh,
So
yeah,
again, how can you
Sorry,
see
8
a
inches.
ship on the horizon with a telescope that's way past the acceptable distance that you've accepted as science of the curvature of? You've accepted that 8 inches per mile. Then why can you see something that far away? You shouldn't be able
Well,
to.
see, they had explanations for that. They made up explanations for that too. They gave it a name, ghost ship. A lot of those times, those were explained away by giving it a name that stuck, like a ghost ship.
The
Unless
trolls
it's a-
just keep coming out in the room. You guys will see one of these days, man, because science isn't going to be able to cover it up forever. They're going to have to come out with the truth sooner or later. Look, all the truth about the pedophile shit going on Capitol Hill, it's all coming out. You know, rogue cops are being arrested every day. Shit's changing. The paradigm on this planet is changing. Yeah, I said planet because that's what you trolls believe, right?
Hey, I have a question.
Go ahead. Nothing that you trolls have put in the room yet is a verifiable fact. Nothing you put in the room yet is a verifiable fact. Talking about gravity and bullshit, whatever.
And the reason they're popping up like weeds is because people are waking up.
Right? They don't want. As soon as I put the
I have a
Flat Earth
question
show in my
about the
title,
Flat Earth.
that brought the trolls to the show. Go ahead, Kim. Sorry, I'll shut up.
Oh no, that's okay.
Go ahead. Backed up by measurement.
I
Same
was just
rule you
wondering-
use for your dick. Sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'll shut up. I'll mute my mic. Go ahead.
So I've just been so curious about Antarctica when I found out about Admiral Byrd, and then because of him, I started studying. You know, found out the Germans had like 3 different. Really, it was a big deal for them, big. And then whatever it was, we found out about, and of course, no one gets to know. Even it's all our money paying for everything. But I just want to know what they're hiding. So, so this is it. This is what they were hiding. It goes hand in hand for me. You know, I mean, how could it not? Antarctica is a huge question for me, and that is a huge thing that I think is going to have no choice but to come out this year, because last year you had all these dignitaries and crap. You had John Kerry and the fake astronaut. Everybody was out there last year. So here we got it going on. And now the flat earth thing. I mean, I cannot even imagine. It wasn't like I ever poo-pooed the idea or thought, oh, that's, I'd never even heard of it. Like, it had never, ever crossed my path. And I study all the time. I study everything my whole life. So this is not something that ever crossed my path. But then again, I didn't really ever start studying about the government to this level until probably about 3 years ago. So I'm kind of new at understanding what I'm looking at. This is a huge, big deal that I still wake up and pinch myself sometimes. I can barely believe this is what we've got going on. And I'm not all innocent thinking that the government was all perfect either. I never thought that. But
Right.
no, I never saw this, ever. But our soldiers are being used like little pawns. They don't care about our men.
No,
It's
hell
a
no.
game with an agenda.
Are you watching the chat, Lance, at all?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I
Well,
can't
if
get
you
my
want to
stupid computer to work, so I'm just sitting here looking at my phone.
go, I mean, if you want to go tackle some of the shit that's coming coming up in the chat room, man. Dive right in there and go for it.
You can't. I mean, you can't. You're not going to be able to. I mean, I was blinded 40 something years. I mean, until you accept what your eyes are seeing, you'll just never believe it. I mean, you have to believe it yourself. You have to. I mean,
yeah, Dawn,
you got to do your own research.
Dawn,
without the technology,
Charlie's been
never done that. It's only now that we could have learned this stuff. I don't know how people understood the stuff without the internet and stuff to look.
Charlie,
these documentaries you couldn't just find on the television.
Yeah, Dawn, Charlie's been to a little dot on the snow out there claiming to be the South Pole, man. He's been to that little dot that they hammer into the snow about every 2 years because they got to keep redoing it.
You can go from any country on the earth and go head straight south, and you're going to end up at Antarctica.
That's right.
So, yes, I mean, no matter where you go on the plane, if you head south, you're going to hit Antarctica, period. Right. But they only let you go to that one little part of it.
And if you go north, I don't care where you are on the earth, if you go north, you're going to hit the North Pole, too. So the North Pole is the center of the disk. The North Pole is the center of the disk. Not the magnetic North Pole, the North Pole. The spot directly underneath the pole star. That's why they call it the pole star. Oh, my God. I think that...
The flight patterns have also done it for me because you can't take a flight from South Africa. You can't take a flight from South Africa to Australia.
Nope.
You can't do it. You have to go up to Malaysia to refuel because if you look at it on a flat map, it's too far. And it is. That's why you can't fly straight from South Africa to Australia. There's no direct flights.
Go look at the way they lay them out.
Go look at the flight maps.
Proves that it's a flat Earth.
I did look.
You know.
So
Mr. AK, the flag of the United Nations.
The pilots must know. The pilots must know, right? Like a lot of people know about this and choose to just play along with it.
Talking about being a pilot. No, well, there's in NASA's paperwork when they were designing supersonic jets, it says right in their paperwork that this plane is to be designed to fly over a flat, level plane, a flat, level surface. So, and go ask an engineer. Go ask any engineer on the planet that builds bridges if they design the curvature of the Earth into their bridge design. They'll laugh in your fucking face.
Yeah, right.
Go ask them.
You're right.
Go ask them. You know, how do planes land on a spinning ball?
It begs the question. This is like the new place, and they discovered it, and they've made it their little sanctuary, their little whatever Shangri-La in the world, and then all of us are going to be slaves. Those of us they allow us to live.
Hollywood tells you the truth.
500 million.
Right?
Yeah.
Hollywood tells you the truth. The Truman story is what you're all living.
That's exactly right.
I have got to rent that, or I've got to just look. I just hooked up a little thing last night called I don't know what it's called. It's like a little thing you hook into your television, and you can get a whole bunch of stuff downloaded into your television. You don't even need the cable anymore. I like it. A Firefly or something like that.
When did I talk to an engineer? Several of them have been interviewed. You know, these videos are all available on YouTube, man. Evidently, you guys that are still ball earthers don't know how to use a Google bar, right? Because there's video after video after video after video after video after video of people being interviewed about flat Earth topics. They're all out there. That's all you got to do is a little bit of research instead of sitting in your fucking mama's basement and typing on a computer thinking you know everything that you've been taught all your life from a state-funded school. Right?
That's another thing that made me believe it.
Station.
That's right, Jimmy. That's another thing that made me believe this. Everything we've learned from them.
The only reason you trolls in the room think that the ball Earth is real is because from the time you walked into a kindergarten classroom, you've seen a globe. That's the only reason.
And you never questioned it.
Right.
You never questioned
Why
it.
would
you? Right? You've seen it in the previews of movies for Universal all your fucking life, and RCA used to have an ad that was a ball Earth, and this was way back before they ever even fucking flew into outer space and actually got a picture of the motherfucker, right? Supposedly landed on the moon and shit.
That just pisses me off that they faked us out like that. I hate being a complete idiot and not knowing that I'm an idiot. At least when you're an idiot and you know it, you can try to correct your fault.
It's good to know, though, that there are some paid trolls that are coming in and trying to debunk it all. That is good. I figure that would happen.
Vampire P, you haven't come out with anything either telling me I'm drinking Kool-Aid. You haven't come out with anything. Hit me with a proof, man. You know, if you guys are so goddamn high horse about this shit, go add me on Skype and come on to this broadcast.
And it wasn't some kook on the internet that convinced me. Dude, it was the diary of Admiral Byrd that convinced me.
Yes.
All you have to do is research, man.
It was him.
Just
and
research.
He was a good man. He seemed like a good man. His son seemed like a good man. Like I think he's still alive. I saw some video on his son as well.
Spring said, seriously, if it's flat and not round, where are the edges?
The edge is Antarctica.
They're like 200
It's
miles
like a
high.
dome.
Well,
have you seen the movie The Dome? That is
Yeah, I did.
the dome. I mean, it's
is.
like
The
that.
one where
It's
that
exactly
guy
like
that's
that.
supposed so funny. Is that the movie I saw with the guy that's supposed to be so funny and he broke the side of the dome and got out or something? Oh well, that was some movie I saw. I can't remember the guy's name. Terrible with names.
Tomfoolery of the International Space Station says, I don't get paid. I was a flat earther. I was a flat earther that actually went out and did experiments and observation. And there's at least a handful of experiments that you can do right in your backyard with shit that you got in your fucking
if you were
garage.
a flat earther, you wouldn't have changed.
Yeah, it's just that simple. There's a handful of experiments that you can do in your backyard with shit that you got in your garage that'll prove that the Earth is flat and stationary. But
Tom, if it was a fake diary, then they would have said that his voyage was 6,000 miles.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Admiral Byrd wasn't under anybody's direction when he did that trip. He was down there doing experiments so that they could get the actual numbers of what's going on because nobody had ever done it.
Then if you believe Admiral Byrd that his trip was that long, then why are you keeping to debunking this then? You're contradicting yourself. I don't understand.
Just read his diary, people. Seriously. The guy was just saying what he was saying.
He just said that was made up by the government. So if it was made up, then it would have said 6,000 miles.
Right. If they wanted to perpetuate the Antarctica myth, then that's exactly what he would have said. Yeah, we went around the whole thing at 6,000 miles and we flew across it a couple times and blah blah blah. Let me ask you this. If it's just a big chunk of ice down there on the south side of the planet, why are only 26 countries allowed to go there? Why is there a treaty? Why has there been a treaty in effect for 70 plus years?
Yeah, do the research on the one company that does the Antarctic tours. Mm-hmm. Go ahead and do some background research on that one company that you took your tour on to Antarctica.
Yeah. Been to the South Pole,
and then come back.
I've been to the South Pole. I stood on that little spike they put in the ground. You weren't probably even on the main continent of Antarctica when you took your trip, Charlie.
Yeah, I heard that there was a company that actually does that. There is an actual company specifically to deal with every different level of need for the people that work in all of the bases in Antarctica from all of these different countries, because there's a lot of them. There's a lot of air bases there, or not. I don't know about air bases, but
there's a lot of research stations.
Bases.
Yeah, a lot of research stations.
And yeah, there's an actual. It was Cliff High, and he actually said on one of he was discussing his own WebBot thing one morning, and it was really early. He had a cup of coffee. He was talking about how there was a specific company. He actually said the name. I wrote it down, but I've lost that paper since then. But yeah, he said there's one company that's actually just specific to meeting every single need and level of need that is necessary to, accommodate the people working up there and living up there in those bases and all those. That company must be doing well.
Yeah, what was John Kerry doing there on election day? There's asking a bunch of questions. Why was the Pope down there? Why did Kirill go down there last year after he met with the Pope for the first time in several hundred years that those two factions of Christianity met?
I wonder if these same people think two planes actually melted the steel in the Twin Towers and caused it to crash too.
Oh, it wasn't
because the government says that it did. The government engineers came out and said it did. However, there's a list of 3,000 engineers that said it's entirely impossible. Impossible.
Yeah, fact says it's entirely impossible.
The government has said that, so I'm sure they will believe that too.
Right.
What was that stuff called? Thermite?
Yeah, nanothermite.
Military grade thermite that's only made in like 2 military high level places in the world, and both of them being
it left its signature everywhere. Those little bitty spheres. Those little bitty spheres were all over the site.
Yeah.
So yeah.
You can't buy it through Amazon, and you can't put it together by yourself because, just like you said, it's got a signature. It's thermite.
Two planes dropped 3 buildings on that day. That's just incredible. That's never happened before ever in history. That's just incredible. One of the buildings didn't even get hit by the plane. It wasn't even on fire that long, and it just collapsed right in its own footprint. Yeah. But we're getting off topic, so let's jump back on the flat Earth.
Yeah.
Water, if you guys that are out there trolling right now, trolling in the room, if you guys can explain water and how it sticks to a ball, I'd like to hear that one. We're just going to keep hammering on these top, maybe top 5, top 10 facts that prove that the earth is not moving at all whatsoever. I think someone at the very beginning of the show asked me what I think it is. If it's not a ball spinning through space, what I think it is. I think it's a creation of the Creator. It tells us that right in the Bible. It's a creation of the Creator, the great I Am. And this is exactly what he wants it to be. There's not a shit ton of other planets out there, and we're not just this minute speck in this great big ocean of fucking crap flying in world willy-nilly everywhere, which way. No, this place was made for us, by him, for a reason. And once you get to know that reason, you'll understand why it's so important to me that my earth is flat and created for me by the Creator. People are a lot more powerful than they'll ever know. And that's the reason that this planet's in the shape that it's in right now, this flat level plane. That's why everybody wants to kill each other.
Because you've let 300 people control us.
Forever.
Yes, I so agree with that.
Forever. They have access to knowledge.
Just so sad.
They have access to knowledge that we'll never know because they've already destroyed it.
Fair.
So,
and vampire must be talking about Argathia, is that what it's called? Jury's still out on that one for me, but I wouldn't put it past it because you're not allowed to fly over the North Pole either. So
no,
and on a map that would be the closest point between many airline routes would be right over the North Pole, but you're not allowed there. So the jury's still out on that one for me.
You can't even see it on the Weather Channel, right? They don't even show the weather loop for the North Pole. It's all blacked out. They don't want you seeing what's down there.
I have 2 things to say.
Yeah, go ahead.
The thing with the 70-year, how long did it last? The 70 years so far that it's lasted. What was that called?
What are you talking about?
It keeps it's where all the countries agreed to not.
The South Pole Treaty,
the
Arctic Treaty.
Yeah, that pact. Well, how many pacts have been broken over the years on every other darn thing? Everything. Nobody keeps their promises, but that somehow they kept. That's pretty interesting.
Let me clarify one thing. What's his name here? I had to roll back up here. He said, I'm no spinning ball earther, but it isn't flat. I would agree with that, Tom. It's not flat. It's got many elevations. It's not flat at all. You can look outside and see
it's not
that it is not flat.
It's
but
a
it's
stable
a plane.
level
it
plane.
is there's a stationary plane and then shit rises above it. So yes, it's not flat. Flat is probably the wrong word.
But it's not
describing it, but it's not a spinning globe.
It's a disc. It's a level disc.
A disc.
The water on the earth finds its level, and the earth has elevations. The land has elevation, but the water on the earth is level.
No matter where it's trying to find its way.
Oh, hi. Hi, Lori.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
Good to hear you.
We'll give you some leeway to talk now. Go ahead.
So this flat disc is just what, hovering in space?
It just is.
Yes.
It just is.
Yes.
Just hanging out there, huh?
The thing that's above the firmament is the waters above, and the thing that's below the
heavens
earth,
above and below, as talked about.
That's right. Out there is heaven.
So
we can't get there. We've never been there. We're under the firmament. We're under the firmament. The firmament separates.
But didn't the firmament crash to the ground when Noah and the floods and all that happened?
No. The flood was a very, very small event in one body of water. The
really?
Flood, the flood wasn't.
I thought it covered the entire earth.
Well, we weren't there. So
yeah, I wasn't there. I that's debatable.
Yeah, we weren't.
That's
there.
debatable. I don't believe the Bible per se for everything that it speaks. I know that there's words from God in there and there's words from people that are wise in there, but there's also a lot of shit they left out. So I don't take the Bible at its word saying that there was
Earth is a ball,
flood.
But it's a half ball. It's a half ball. That's the problem. You can't see underneath it, but it's a half ball.
There's turtles under there, I heard, and elephants. But I'm supposed to believe it's going to take a flat earth for me to understand who I am in God's creation.
If you believe the Bible at its face value, yeah, because it tells you right in the Bible that the earth is flat, and we'll get into that here in a minute too, because I've got several passages out of the Bible that tell you that the earth is flat.
And we're supposed to trust that you're not going to take those out of context.
That it's a circle.
And what version of the Bible will you be using for this?
These actually are from the King James.
The printed one. The printed one.
King James, who left out 150,000 pieces of information out of there and manipulated it so fucking bad that it's
I hate the fact that they did that.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, that this is the Bible that is most widely known. This is the Bible that is most widely known
on space. It's the same thing you're talking about here.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
You don't believe?
I think that
you don't believe the Bible, though.
you're being very melodramatic right now, Lori. You're being very melodramatic right now, and it's uncalled for. Honestly, the Bible is what most people refer to. The King James Bible is the most widely known book on the planet. It's sold the most copies of any other book on the planet. Okay, so this is, I mean, for people that are out there that might be on the edge of whether or not they believe in a globe or a flat Earth or whatever. This, these are passages from that book, the most famous book on earth, that tell you that it's a stationary disk. So Revelation 7:1. After this, I saw 4 angels standing at the 4 corners of the earth. Can't have corners on a ball. Job 37:18.
On a disk either.
The 4 corners. If you go look at the map that I put up when I broadcast for this show last week, there's a map that shows you what I'm talking about right now. If I can get it up on my computer here in just a minute, I will. Job 37:18. Hast thou, like him, spread out the sky, which is strong as molten looking glass? Matthew 4:8. Again, the devil took him to a very high mountain and showed him all the kingdoms of the world. If you can see everything from one point on the world, it ain't a ball. 1 Samuel 2:8. For the pillars of the earth are the Lord's, and on them he has set the world. Daniel 4:11. The tree grew and became strong, and its top reached to heaven, and it was visible to the ends of the whole earth. Again, a single point on a ball cannot be seen from every other point. So that's just a few of them. I got a few more for later on. Hundreds of years of science has been waiting for a YouTube team to prove them wrong.
Yes, because the science guy, whoever he is, Bill Nye and Neil deGrasse Tyson are so reputable scientists.
Bill Nye's not even a scientist. Bill Nye's not even a scientist. He's a fucking actor. He's never been He's never been any kind of science guy at all, ever.
Tyson or whatever is so far in a Freemason thing that you'll never hear the truth out of him either.
There's actually a clip. There's a clip that was taken last year of Bill Nye, if you want to talk about that stupid goober, that he actually says out of his own mouth, the people on this earth are going to have to get used to this being a closed system. We cannot leave. We have never left. Right out of his mouth. Straight out of his mouth. So whatever. You guys believe whatever you want to believe, man. Enjoy yourselves being drug around by your nose for the rest of your lives. I have nothing for you. If you're that stuck on stupid that you can't even question what you've been told all your life, then I got nothing for you. If you're incapable of self-taught, I got nothing for you. You're going to be a follower for the rest of your life, and good luck to you. All right. Mark says he likes your mind, Lori, because you question the Bible. No, Spring, it wasn't translated properly. The King James Bible was written by a bunch of people that King James told to go write him a book that he liked. And if they didn't, come back with something that he liked, it was a good opportunity to chop off somebody's head back then. So they put down whatever he wanted to put down. When he said, nah, scratch that, they scratched it. The entire book of Enoch is not in the Bible, amongst others. So, yeah, that's like I said right before I went into those passages. It's simply a book that everybody knows. So I don't take it verbatim, but there's truth in there. You just have to be able to discern it. Lance?
Yeah. I mean, it's funny how people will stick to, like I see the Tom guy about, he keeps bringing up the curvature to the left or right. Mm-hmm. I mean, you have a sight or a line of sight also, and you have your one thing that you're going to stick to over all the other stuff. You're trying to stick to stuff that's been around forever and keeps being said over and over again, when you can do other stuff that disproves it.
Right.
So, and I've said it before, it's like putting the puzzle together. The government hands me a puzzle and says, this is a puzzle of a beach down in Miami. And I start putting the puzzle together, and I'm 20 pieces through my 100-piece puzzle, and I see snow-capped mountains and a polar bear. I don't have to put the rest of that puzzle together to figure out that I was lied to when I was handed that puzzle. So that's the best analogy I can use for you.
Thank you, Sharon. Happy Flat Earth Day to you too. Yeah, I didn't even know it was Flat Earth today. I didn't know today was Earth Day. So this is kind of apropos. This is great.
Yeah, you did. We said last Saturday that the show was going to be on Earth Day. You knew it. You just forgot it.
I just forgot it.
Got high. That's probably what it was. But
making a little too much noise in the background. Oh shit, we're into the second hour. It's time for the shirt.
I have a thing I want to say say real quick.
It's time for the shirt. Go ahead.
This thing with the flat Earth. Another way they reinforce the lie. I just thought of this. We've already talked about it, but you know how when you're in school, usually in grade school, they always have like a little segment cut out, like a little piece of pie.
Yeah.
And then you get to see all the inner core and all that. So you've had that visual thing reinforced over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another way they just have reinforced us since we were like still learning how to interact and play well in the sandbox.
Right.
So that's all. I'm
Okay.
just saying that's another technique they used while they had us indoctrinated into these schools that made us sheep and we didn't know it.
Right. Vampire P, there is no Southern Star Trails. If you can find me a video of Southern Star Trails and it hasn't been completely debunked as garbage, then go ahead and bring it to me and drop it in the room here. Just jump over on your search engine of choice and run over to YouTube and find me that video and drop the link here in the discussion. Okie dokie. So, if the Earth is a ball spinning around on its axis, and they say that the center, the equator, is spinning at about a little over 1,000 miles an hour, almost 1,100 miles an hour, and the speed of sound's only 720, then how does everybody living down there hear anything other than a big whoosh going by their ears all the time? Just a little question for you guys. How does a plane land on a spinning ball? If the Earth is spinning east to west or west to east or whatever, if it's going around like this, and the plane's trying to land going like this, how's that happen? Some things that make me stay up at night. Not. Find it myself, lazy motherfucker. They're not out there, jackass. It's that simple. You're just spewing some shit that you heard some other fucko say on some discussion on YouTube or in your backyard or whatever. You and your two little buddies sitting behind you at your desktop. I couldn't give a fuck what you guys are laughing about.
And I didn't think by doing this show, because I wasn't for it, but I didn't think doing it was going to switch anybody's views.
I said that from the very beginning of the show.
I'd been hearing people say it for years, and it never switched my views. You cussed me out on your show one time when I brought it up. But it was just, you can do all the research you want, but if you're not going to believe it, you're not going to believe it. I didn't think one person would change, but at least go out and see some of the stuff that's out there, pro and con. And
the only thing I said was that at the very beginning of the show, this is my truth. I'm speaking for myself. I'm not speaking for anybody else on the mic. I'm not speaking for anybody in the chat room, and I don't expect to convert anybody. They wanted a flat earth show. My people that listen to the show wanted a flat earth show. So here it is. This is the flat earth show. This is my truth.
Really, go view the flight plans go view a flat earth where it talks about a flat earth video where it talks about the flight plans, and it shows the actual flight everywhere else. If the flight, the way we fly around this planet doesn't convince you that there's a reason that we fly in these straight angles and we don't go from on a round globe, there would be shorter trips, but you don't make those shorter trips. But once you lay the map out, you can see why you can't make that trip. That should help reinforce it to you. That should be one of those things where, okay, I need to let my brain accept what my eyes are seeing. But some people can't. You just can't. Some people will accept religion. If it needs my belief to exist, does it really exist?
Right. Okay, I'm kind of reading some of the stuff that's going by here in the room.
It's not a show to convince anybody, Negator X. Wow, you've got a lot of trolls here tonight. But it's not a show to convince anybody. It's just a show where we're talking about it.
Rookie flat earth talking points.
that would
that be proof that the earth is flat?
Keyword. That's a CNN keyword that they're going to throw out there because it's an ad hominem attack almost.
Right. Rookie flat earth talking points. Okay. Jeez. You guys are so lame, man. And you're as fucking see-through as glass. It's just so fucking lame. I've been in so many other chat rooms and watched this same shit scroll by during every conversation that Jaronism has with people that he gets on his show. All kinds of shit all over Eric Dubé's channel. It's just, you people are fucking lame. Lame. The reason that you trolls are so triggered is because you are scared to death that this is going to be a fact. And you're going to have to look back at your entire entire fucking life and realize that you've been fooled.
And now they're calling all their buddies in too, so you'll have more trolls than anything else.
Hey man, that's cool. That's more viewers, man. I got 46 people watching the show now, man. Come on, bring them in here. Bring them in here. That's more views, man. That looks good on my channel. I don't give a fuck if you give me a thumbs down or not. Eat a dick. Yeah, get used to it, Dawn said. That's all right. I don't care. Jim Panda. Good argument. I don't know what he's there. You've entered the realm of Flat Earth Live show. These happen every day. Yeah, I'm sure they do. That's okay. My people that listen to my show on a regular basis, which is every Wednesday and Saturday, 8 to 10 Central Time, they wanted it, so they got it. Vaughn, if you want to add me up and come on the show, brother, you're more than welcome to, man. Jump on your Skype thingy and add up Boiler Room Radio. And
you got to wonder, I mean, it sounds like Berkeley almost, where they won't let anybody talk. I mean, just because somebody has an opposing point of view, I'm not sure what, assailing a web show in mass to throw stuff in the chat room. It just seems weird. Right. It seems like very
any one of you trolls
staged and controlled.
Any one of you trolls a half-hot chick with some dreadlocks that's got a black eye? Oh, fuck. Anyway.
Don't let them bother you.
They're not bothering me, man. It's just, it makes me laugh. It makes me laugh. You know, the reason that it makes me laugh is because if you put 1 hour of serious research into this topic, you have to be convinced that it's flat and level, that it's a stationary plane. If you study it for more than 1 hour and you're still not convinced, then you're so far brainwashed, I got nothing for you. Have you looked at rail guns and overall targeting over 35 miles? It's all line of sight. I know it is, brother. I know, because the Earth is a stationary plane. I get guys coming at me all the time about the Coriolis effect. Look, I used to be a fucking hot gunner, right? We never studied the Coriolis effect. We never did. I don't know what they do now. I don't know what they try to teach them in the military now, but we never did, because it has no bearing on the flight path of the bullet. If the Earth spun underneath you when you jumped up off the ground, and about this latitude where I'm at, it's somewhere around 650 or a little plus miles an hour. I would think that whenever I jumped off the ground, I'd slam into the wall of my house, or have shit flying by underneath me, or, when a helicopter takes off, they can hover straight. When I take my drone off in the backyard, I can hold that motherfucker right there in the sky and never touch the controls a lick, and that drone don't move. So, Globetard, explain that.
That's gravity, man. That's gravity. That's how a plane. Right. That's how a hot air balloon can go straight up. It's gravity.
That's gravity. That's right. That's right. Oop, there's gravity. Oh, damn it, I dropped. It's gravity.
And so, I mean, that's what I need answered is gravity. Why, if the world is spinning, does a balloon why can't a balloon just go straight up and be in California 3 hours from now, or whatever way it's turning?
If the Earth was spinning as fast,
and you can't come back with gravity.
Yeah.
So
if the Earth was spinning as fast as they said it was, how did Eric Baumgartner only land about 20 some miles away from where he jumped out of the fucking balloon? If the Earth was spinning at 1,000 miles an hour at the equator, he'd have been landing somewhere out in the Pacific. You guys got nothing. You got nothing. Skype's the only way, Tom.
I mean, we have nothing either. They have the same exact thing we do. I mean, beliefs. That's all that they do. I mean, we have beliefs. So
right.
There's your belief, my belief, and truth somewhere in the middle.
Different. You know what makes what we're saying different, what Jimmy has presented on the show and what everybody's added in on. We're just presenting what we believe. We're not rude. We're not saying that people that don't believe it are stupid or hateful. We're not being hateful. We're just saying what we think. So now these people that are being so hateful on this little chat room, which I cannot see, that's what makes them trolls, because if they were just people that disagreed, they wouldn't be ugly. But these people apparently have to be ugly.
That's cool.
That's my thought.
They show their true self, right?
Right. And that's just ugly to be ugly. That makes them different than people that are just disagreeing.
But
because if you're just disagreeing, you wouldn't be ugly.
I give as good as I get. So
yeah, you do.
I'm mean to mean people. That's the way I like to put it.
I like that.
I'm not mean. I'm just mean to mean people. I hate
mean people.
Yeah, sorry, host is being ridiculously rude. Aw,
you're obviously a first-time listener. Yeah, we all know that.
So you're not politically correct.
Yeah.
You make no effort.
That's okay. I don't have a filter either. So, what you see is what you get. What you see is what you get.
Me either. Well, I have to in the hospitals. I have to have a filter. I have plenty of filters, I guess.
Oh, boy. Flat Earth and other hot potatoes just came into the room. Oh, man, I'm getting them from all over now.
So why'd they do this?
We're only, that's just, I don't,
I'm just dying to know.
Once you're into flat earth stuff and you start trolling around on YouTube, not trolling around, but you know what I mean. You start cruising around on YouTube and looking at different flat earth topics and who talks about them. You come across some pretty hot names, you know, some big names, Jeranism, Eric Dubay, Rob Skiba, and Flat Earth and Other Hot Potatoes used to be one that I listened to a lot. But
I remember Dubay because I watched a couple just in the last few days.
Yeah, Eric Dubay's actually written several books on this topic, you know, and he's the first one. I mean, when Lance started slipping me shit, that's one of the first ones that he slipped to me was 200 Proofs. And once you see that one, once you see the 200 Proofs video, and
not all of them did I believe, but
more than
vast
5
majority of them. So how many proofs do you need before you realize that you've been lied to?
Right.
Can you look it up on YouTube?
Yeah. All you got to do is type that one in Google. 200 Proofs of the Flat Earth, and it'll take you right to the video.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
That's easy.
Eric Dubay. Just go to his site. Just go to his YouTube page and click on his videos and scroll down through there, man. I mean, he's got a ton of them.
Okay.
Jeranism.
Right.
Jeranism is another really, really good one. And if you're into the whole Christianity thing, that's Rob Skiba. You know, Rob Skiba goes into multitude of different things on his video, not just flat Earth, other stuff too. So, you know, Jeranism's got his own radio show online that he does weekly. So yeah, there's a bunch of them out there. Those are the ones that I happen to listen to on a regular basis. ODD Reality is a good one. The Truth is Stranger Than Fiction is another really good flat Earth guy. He has people that are writing testimonies into him of how the flat Earth changed their life and led them toward God, if you want to call him God. So that's some of those videos. Yeah, the creator, Yahweh. So
it's the creator.
Yeah, those videos are stellar. I am so blessed that I found his channel because some of the testimonies that people have written into him are just
X-Doom, to answer part of your question, if NASA needs money, there you go. NASA needs money. That's where they hide a lot of your money.
Yeah. That's why we had to pay like $600 for hammers and shit back in the day. $4,000 for a toilet seat.
Now they just steal it.
Right. They can just print it. Fuck it.
They don't do anything. They just take it.
Trust. See, if South Park taught me anything, it's not to trust gingers.
Yeah, that was a funny show where they had the ginger convention and Cartman was a ginger. That was pretty damn funny.
Oh, that caught me off guard. Too funny. Don't worry, dude. We're through the electronics. I can't steal your soul through the electronics, so you're all good.
What do you think about the idea that there's all this technology up in Antarctica, the same place that, in my mind, is what represents the crust around the whole Earth?
Unless you're in, we'll never know about that.
Right?
Well, I do not like that. I think that is wrong. I just want to know.
So let me ask you guys this: what do you think is the purpose behind the chemtrails? Do you think it's to block out what's out there so that we can't start doing any more stuff like that, or you know what I mean? What do you think is the reason behind the chemtrails? Do you think it's just geoengineering? Do you think they're just fucking with the weather? Go into it.
Well, I mean, I checked Wikipedia, and they said that that's a hoax, just like the flat Earth too. So.
But MIT just came out 2 weeks ago and said they were going to start the program, and they started it, right? Wasn't it MIT that said that they were going to start spraying the skies to try to alleviate global warming again?
No, I think everything they do has something connected to it. I think it's bad.
Yeah.
All that stuff, I don't think it's a hoax. I think it's bad. I mean, look at all the people.
But look
there's
a verifiable...
a million bald men, and that's nothing against bald men, but there's like millions of bald men. Now you've got like people in their 25, 26. I mean, they're bald. They're bald before they're 30. They're gray and bald before they're 30. That doesn't seem natural to me. That seems like a chemtrail thing. And then you've got all these women that in their early 20s into their 30s, these women are having really bad pregnancies. They're extremely morbidly obese.
Look at the fucking weather. Look at the weather patterns, man. Look at, I think the being big.
Chemtrails, GMOs.
The being big is like GMOs and eating McDonald's, and you know we've got entirely too many people that have grew up on fast food, and that's all they know is fast food. That's all they eat.
Yeah.
So
it's not food.
Yeah, it's not food. It's not food.
If you can't pronounce the ingredients on the back of the label, it's not food.
No.
Right.
No. So that's the obesity and stuff. But the stupidity, that's fluoridated water, vaccines, but we're getting way off topic again. The chemtrails, I want to know, do you think that they're trying to blot out the sky? Because there's verifiable studies right now. Well, yeah, it's doing that too. But that are talking about the reduction of sunlight that hits the earth. It's down by at least 30% from when I was a kid. There's 30% sunlight hitting the earth than there was back when I was a kid. So, we're carbon-based life forms. We kind of need the sun to give us energy and stuff. I don't know if you guys notice it or not, but on cloudy days, I can't find my motivation. It's hard. It's hard for me to find my motivation. I like waking up and seeing the sun come up, and that's just part of my id, I guess. Lance, your thoughts on that one?
I'm laughing at the people in the chat room. It's hilarious. But the chemtrails, I don't know. I mean, I have no idea why they're spraying them. No idea. But I know that, as a kid in the 80s, 70s and 80s, you could sit there and lay on the grass and look up at the sky and watch planes fly over. And when their contrail was about 3 to 5 minutes old, it would disappear. It would go away. Yep. You never saw crisscross lines in the sky as a kid. And you can't show me one movie from the 80s, 70s, 60s, any Hollywood movie, any movie that has those marks in the sky that you see now.
No. There's
you just didn't see them.
There's
so
actually
I don't know.
very specific conditions required for a jet engine to make a contrail. You have to have the right temperature, the right humidity.
I've seen, I've been around military. I'm a veteran. I've been around military bases my whole life. And in the 70s and 80s, and if plane flies over, the contrail disappears after a little bit, and you can follow it through the sky. You can't still see it. An hour later, the trail that it left is still sitting in my sky an hour after it flew by. How do you explain that? Right. That's just weird. But okay. I got no proof, so I don't know.
Okay. Mr. AK said, back to flat Earth. I guess they don't want to hear about chemtrails. Hopefully the majority of the people in this room that are listening to my voice believe in chemtrails already, because
there were a few of them in there that didn't also. I could see that already from the chats and stuff. It's unimportant. Move on.
That could easily be a biological weapon if the government ever decided just to take a bunch of people out.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're usually in slow motion anyway, like that, but I'm just saying.
What are you eating?
Sorry.
No, it's okay. I'm just wondering.
I'm so starving. I've been up since 4:30, and this is the first time I've eaten today. I'm so gross.
And you waited for my show?
A sandwich.
Okay. A sandwich?
A sandwich.
Right. If you hold it this way, it's a ham and cheese and a ham and cheese. But this way, it's a cheese and a ham and cheese and a ham. Okay. Back to the flat Earth. Okay. Yeah. So I'll tell you what. We got like a half hour left of the show. I'll take stuff out of the room some more. If you guys want to hit a specific flat Earth topic or something, man, type it into the room and we'll go from there.
Well, I know the gentleman would like his question answered about looking left or right and seeing the curvature. One thing by itself isn't going to sway me.
No, that's true. It's going to have to be a culmination thing, and there is a plethora of things that prove that the Earth is flat.
And they're hiding everything. They're hiding it.
Well, okay. Here's another one that I saw a comment in the Earth. I saw a comment in the room earlier that said the Earth has no shape, which is kind of I can go with that. If you want to say that it has no shape, it's definitely not a ball, and we're not spinning around. But whether it's a square, or a disc, or a rectangle, or an octagon, or whatever, okay, I'll give you it has no shape, because we have no clue what the outside of that ice wall is, right? So as far as anybody's been able to tell, it's just a flat, barren, icy wasteland as far as the eye can see. Once you get past that ring, so.
Because X-Doom, if you knew the truth that we were all trapped here and you can't get off, there'd be a lot of pissed off fucking people.
However, I can say this.
You got to keep the lie going.
There is Isaiah 40:22 that says, "It is he who sits above the circle of the earth." So that is that. And your dog evidently agrees with that. So
she's going to get something.
Good. Go get it, kid. Hopefully it ain't a gator.
Rat bastards outside and them squirrels.
Hopefully it ain't a nasty spider. One of them almost took you down.
Yep, brown recluse, man. They'll get you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Here's another thing. Once you people, anybody out there that's on the fence right now, if this program happens to sway you, God help you. No, I'm just kidding. If it happens to sway you to the flat stationary Earth, then here's something that you got to try to wrap your mind around. All the money that the space programs have stolen. Just saying. That's a ton of fucking money. Do you believe in the International Space Station, Lance?
Yeah. I mean, I believe it's up there, but you don't have to be in space to have zero gravity because they fly planes up there all the time. I mean, if there's so much proof out there, and I hate to bring up moon landing shit, but I mean, there's so much Stanley Kubrick stuff. There's so much Hollywood special effects, astronauts that won't talk about it.
You really believe the space station?
If there is a space station, yeah, I mean, there's something up there, but I don't know. You would think with all these 6 million or 6,000 satellites or everything that's up there,
you'd be able to see one of them.
You would be able to see one. You'd be able, if you can pick a spot out of the moon with your telescope.
Why can't you see a satellite flying by?
It's big. I mean, you're in the telescope. Why can't you see any of that? I mean, I know that you can. At least I saw it on my Star app thing, where if you were in a certain position, you could have saw the ISS about a month ago. I remember my Star Walk coming up with that. If you were in this position, look up with binoculars and you could see it.
Yep.
I believe that, but why can't you see that shit all the time? If there's satellites out there that are around that, I mean, why can't you pick them up?
You can watch it fly across the giant moon. Oh, Lord.
I mean, the space station, something, if it's up there in the atmosphere, right. I mean, there's something making them float up there.
Okay, so you believe all the videotape that comes out of the ISS, and I mean, you believe all that?
I mean, I don't believe they're looking out the window and they're seeing the curvature of the Earth and shit? They would have been riddled with meteorites and small particles, but it would have been torn up. If it was in space with all the junk and everything else, it would have been torn up by now. So it's obviously in a safe spot.
Right on. Vaughn.
And Negator X is saying you can pick up all the satellites on them. I've never seen one video of anybody putting up there that you can see it. So drop a link in the room where somebody's got a telescope out, and you should be able to see if there's 6,000 satellites up there. We should be able to see some of them. The sun should be glinting off of some of them.
Right.
Where's the videos?
Right.
I got a telescope. I'm looking out there all the time. I can't see them. So roll on the floor laughing all you want. Put a link in there where you can see it.
Yeah. Go show me one video of a satellite cruising by the International Space Station or underneath it or over the top of it, or other than when they let one go, per se. Like when they're releasing one into the upper atmosphere or whatever. Show me one of them. Show me just one of them. One of the guys happens to be just gazing out the window at the Earth going by underneath them, and then hey, look, there goes the satellite.
The ISS. I said all the satellites that are up there.
Yeah.
All these satellites that are up there. Show me somebody's video, because I got a telescope looking for them and I can't find them.
If you can track the International Space Station with your telescope, man, you must have a pretty fancy telescope. Must have one of those auto tracker thingies in there where you can put the coordinates of it and it just follows it across the sky, huh? Yeah, those are pretty cool, man. Satview.org.
No, I want to see somebody's actual thing, not a government-sponsored website that I'm going to...
No, it's a .org. It's a
.org website is fucking paid for by some government.
Yeah.
So just anybody, post a video.
Yeah, Vaughn, it's going to be 30 seconds before you hear me, but yeah, it's me. You got me on Skype. Hang on a second, Bubby. I'll add you in, man. I can't answer that call. If I try to answer that call, it's going to cut off the other one. So I'll just add you to the call like this, right there. Come on, Vaughn. Here it comes. Okay. Did I get you, Vaughn? Oh, let me try it again. Boop. I'm adding you in, brother. You'll see it on your desktop, man. All you got to do is hit the call and add yourself in. All righty. Carrying on. Yeah, the whole space program thing, I'm not sure exactly what I believe about what's going on up there. I can tell you something. Some of the shit that I've seen about the International Space Station and those guys doing spacewalks and doing some of that's pretty fishy. Underwater type fishy. The bubble videos. Everybody that's a flat earther or studying the flat earth, if you haven't seen bubble videos from the space cruise, go Google that or type it into your YouTube search bar. You'll see the bubble videos come up, and just there's some other hinky shit, man. I mean, there's just some other hinky shit, some of the videotape that they show of the Earth rolling by underneath the space station. The clouds never move. I mean, and not just swirl around and shit. I'm talking about from the time the clouds on the horizon of the shot of the Earth start onto frame and roll to you, they are completely static. They don't ever move. None of the cloud formations travel in any direction, or it's just very, very hinky. And you're talking about thousands of miles of rotation. That's, well, Okay. It's just very hinky, man.
Yeah, I agree.
So anyway, here's a science
You got me,
fact.
Jim?
Yeah, I got you, Vaughn. Welcome to the show, brother. Let me standing upside down says, here's a science fact. You can't get combustion or thrust oxygen in a vacuum. So how did the Apollo 11 get to the moon in a vacuum? Just more magic by the elite. And here's another thing. I mean, if you just want to go down to basics of science when it comes to the Earth, how do you have a vacuum next to an atmosphere with nothing in between? You know, how is that possible? If the gravitational pull of the spinning ball Earth is so strong that it can hold an atmosphere next to the rock in a vacuum of space, then nothing on this planet would move. We'd all be squishy little flat things on the floor. It's just not possible. Not possible. But anyway, yes, you are connected, Vaughn. I'm sorry. I talked right over the top of you. Go ahead. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, do you hear me fine? Is my audio any good at all?
Yes,
I'm
sir.
running a Linux.
Yes, sir. It sounds good right here.
Okay, let me establish a ground foundation here. At the ripe old age of 68 years old, when I was young, like everyone else on this earth, I was taught as soon as I walked in the classroom because there was a big shiny globe. But as I got a little older, my parents had did a little traveling outside of Gurnee, Illinois, where there's a little town called Zion, Illinois. And what lurks in that little town is a church that was established for flat earth. There has been a reward of $5,000 that dates back into the 30s or 40s that has never been taken up on. Do you realize how much money that was at that time? Well, this little town of Zion, as we went through there, you know, my dad asked about that church, and people said, stay away from that church because that church has a bunch of nuts. They believe in the flat earth, and they don't believe in the globe, and they don't believe we've been to the moon. Well, when I heard that conversation, and then I heard what Kennedy said at one of his speeches, that if we ever develop the metal to enter into space, yet we're going to collect money for this adventure from every American citizen, I knew something was awry.
Me on Skype. Yeah. There's
Did you hear me?
Yeah, I heard you. There's there was a point a couple of months back. Well, actually, it's been a lot longer than that. There was a point back when Lance first brought this to my attention, and I, we almost lost our friendship over it. To be honest with you, I don't know if how many of you remember that show when he came on and brought this to my attention, but we had a little verbal knockdown over this about it, and I don't know. It got squashed a little bit, but there was a point at which, after I started doing the studying on this and figured out that it was true, that I had to come to the realization that everything that I'd ever been taught was a lie, and that I had to start completely over from scratch when it came to this. So I did, and dove into it with both feet, and it consumed a lot of my time. And there's certain things that I enjoy doing and certain things that I don't enjoy doing, and this is one thing that I really enjoy doing. I love the flat earth topic. I love the passion of talking about it and trying to convince people what the truth really is and how deep this rabbit hole really goes, and so I don't know if this is going to be the last show on it or not on here, but definitely hope that I helped to open some eyes in the room. Now I know I drug the trolls in here, and I'm sorry to all my regular listeners about the trolls coming in here and fucking with everybody. But I hope I made some new friends, and I hope that some people will come back and listen to my show some more. And I don't just talk about flat Earth for sure. We talk about regular news stuff all the time, and what's going on in the world and different topics and such.
I can hear him because I can't hear shit over here.
You can't hear, Vaughn?
Start on the frame.
Refresh it.
Roll to you. They're
Turn the YouTube video, the volume off on the YouTube on the video. You can't have both.
I was out of sync.
It's always out of sync. You can't have both.
This is my show support, and I don't just talk about flat Earth for sure. We talk about
You
regular
need to
news,
turn the video
all
off
the
on
time,
YouTube.
and what's going on in the world and different topics.
I can hear him because I can't hear shit over here.
I'm gonna have
You
to.
can't hear? Vaughn?
You're gonna need to cut them off.
Yeah, sorry about that, Vaughn. I hope you can hear me now, man. I had to cut you off because all we could hear was was my video playing in the background, Bo. So sorry about that. When you get all your audio stuff squared away, man, give me a call back. Add yourself back into the show. All right. Okay. let's carry on. We still got 20 minutes left to fill. So if you, what's the one thing that you want people to walk away with from this show, Lance?
I mean, nothing. I'm not going to convince anybody. I mean, nobody could convince me. I had to convince myself. And people got deep-seated beliefs that they can't get around them. It's the, what's it called? When you're blind. Shit, I can't even think of it now. Like all of us.
When you're blind.
No, I mean, we're just lulled into the lie, and I'm not trying to convince anybody.
Yeah.
See, but it's not even being lulled into a lie.
I'm not. Well, I'm not really asking you.
We were brought up to believe it.
I'm not asking you if you want to convince anybody. I'm asking you if there's one thing you want people to take away from this show. What would that be? Not to try to convince anybody that.
I'll just go do your own. I mean, you're going to believe what you're going to believe. But the thing is, I mean, there's a lot of other people that are believing this now, and it's gaining ground. When the car was invented, they said it would never replace the horse. And now look at us now. So, I mean, it was poo-pooed when it first came out, and look at us now. Yeah. So there's a lot of things that we've always believed, but do some research. Do both. I mean, go to this guy's website. You have your pro videos, you have your con videos, but the pro videos outweigh the con videos because the con videos are just regurgitating stuff.
Talking points. They've got a certain set of talking points.
That's all they are. It's talking points. It sounds like politicians. It's talking points.
Right.
It just makes me wonder why, who did this, or I just don't get it. And if they found out about whoever did this, if this was God, then okay. But if they found out that this is not what we've been brought up to believe it is, which they must know by now, that's what this whole thing's about. Why did they keep it a secret? What did they have to gain? I don't get it. That's a big psyop to do over generations.
What do they have to gain?
Happen.
Okay, this goes back to what I was talking about earlier about how powerful people are. You make your own reality. I say this a lot on my show. I try to tell everybody, you create your own reality. Your thoughts will eventually come to pass. If you wake up, and here's just an example. If you wake up in the morning and the first thing that hits your lips when you roll out of bed is, man, this is going to be a fucked up day. Guess what? Guess what? That day is going to be pretty fucked up. But if you get up in a good mood and you try to stay positive about everything, then you're probably going to wind up having a pretty good day. You know,
that's what I do.
Your energy is your thoughts. It's all energy. It's more powerful than people even imagine.
It is, and it's infectious. It's like it just makes people smile when you smile.
Right,
it's like an energy. Yeah.
But look, the collective energy on this planet has been geared toward egotism and wealth and just money hungry for decades and decades and decades. And that's why the earth is in the shape that it's in. That's why there's constant war everywhere and strife and people always stabbing each other in the back for a fucking raise and whatever, anything they can get their hands on, right? So here's the deal. If everybody knew that this place was created for us by God, that we weren't some minuscule little dot in this giant nothing of everything, right?
Right.
If everybody knew that we were special, we were placed here for a reason, we have power, our thoughts, our collective conscience has power, then the people that are in charge now wouldn't be in charge anymore.
Yeah. Well, except for the technology they're using
be obsolete
against us right now.
Well, no, the system that we're in would be totally obsolete. It would change everything. So the reason they keep it hidden from us is because there is evil in charge of this planet right now. It was given to Satan for a time. It tells you that in the Bible too, if you want to believe everything verbatim. It tells you that evil's going to rule this planet for a time. And I think his time's coming to an end, because if you look at what's going on, there's a paradigm shift going on. There's a lot of people that are pissed off at big government and they don't like the fucking corruption and all the pedophilia and, it's changing. The thought process on this planet is changing. So there is a shift coming. What's so funny, Lance?
This guy that asked me if this felt incumbent, he must have the same program that Hillary Clinton used to get all her fans on Twitter because they just keeps rolling through it. He's got a pretty good program. So sorry, I didn't mean to laugh at what you were saying, but this guy is pretty persistent.
Oh yeah. Okay, good for him. So that's in a nutshell, that's what I think it is. They understand that if we all know and we all start thinking differently. We all start to break from the cognitive dissonance that's been surrounding us our entire lives.
That's the word I was looking for earlier.
Oh, congratulations. You found it. Things would change. Everything would change. The people that were in power would lose their power because we would no longer find them powerful, right? You know, it's all based on money and ego right now. And it can't stay that way. It just can't stay that way. In the end, good always wins and evil always loses. So I'm just hanging on for the end, you know? I'm ready for this shoe to drop. I'm so fucking ready for the shoe to drop, I can't even tell you. All right, Kim, I'm going to throw it to you now. What if people leave, and that's the one thing that I want everybody to leave this show with. If you believe in the circle earth, or if you believe in the ball earth, or if you believe in the cube earth, or the, you know, hexagonal earth, or whatever, I don't give a fuck, right? The one thing that I want you to leave this program with tonight is the fact that you have much more power than you're giving yourself credit for. Change your thought process and you will change your life. I can promise you that.
I agree.
Okay. So what's the one thing that you want everybody to leave with, Kim?
Well, I would just stress that people study. I always stress that. Always study. Like, open your eyes and have an open mind and actually study.
Yeah.
Because it's important. People need to be aware of what's going on because there's a very small handful of people making all the decisions, and they don't include us. A lot of us are not going to be part of that. So I enjoy being alive. I enjoy the thought of my family being alive and having good lives after I pass. So I just feel very responsible now that I do know what's going on, or I'm pretty certain that I have a pretty good idea of a lot of what's going on, that it's important to share it and open other people's minds. So I guess that's what I'll leave it with.
So you just came upon the flat earth a year ago, you told me.
Not even a year ago. That was rounding up.
Okay. So not even a year
Yeah, I'd never
ago.
even heard of it.
What was the one thing that changed your mind, that made you go, oh my God, it's flat? I don't know.
She said earlier, Admiral Byrd, same thing. That
Well,
gave
yeah,
it to
but
me.
Well,
okay.
yeah, the Admiral Burr was the first thing that I even introduced the thought to me, because I ran across him, and my grandfather was a fighter pilot. I thought, well, this is a whole different thing, but let me look into this guy. So I looked at it, and it was like, oh, So then the other stuff came up, and it was just, I'd already been studying Antarctica, and it kind of goes hand in hand to me. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't Antarctica that ring of the flat Earth? I mean, that's what I'm getting from what I've learned, or what I think I've learned.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that I was already kind of simultaneously studying other stuff, and it just kind of came together. And I love the history part of once I was introduced to all this with Admiral Byrd, I started studying the history with the Germans, and of course Operation Paperclip with the Germans being brought over here, and then they just continued it. They never lost the damn war, but then that just goes into a whole nother area, but it all goes hand in hand. It really does. They're like the henchmen for the top people, so it's a pretty big mess. But as far as all that, I mean, it's definitely, I think it's a flat Earth. I really do. I just don't know why they had to keep it a secret. What the heck?
Because it makes sense. It makes more common sense than the globe. The globe just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And the flat does. I mean, it resonates with me because it just makes sense.
It's what your eyes see every day.
And they make all that money off
That's
of
my
NASA.
belief.
It's what your eyes see every day.
Money.
You know, it is. It's what your eyes see every day. You go outside, you look up, shit's calm, and
Same
you know
thing.
what I mean. So
I see the same stars every morning when I go out. Whatever. The same.
I don't feel like I'm spinning around at 600 plus miles an hour, and I don't see how someone with motion sickness can be standing in their room going around the earth at 600 miles an hour, going around at 600 miles an hour. But if you put them in a car and take them 20 miles an hour faster, they puke all over the back seat. You know, I just don't get it. It's
right.
nothing. You
right.
know, when you
the
start,
whole thing is ridiculous.
when
And
you
like
start
when you're out there
applying
playing
physics-
racquetball and you start zoning, then how fast are you going when you're in midair?
when you apply physics to what they try to explain to you that the Earth is, it does not work. It just doesn't.
It doesn't add up. It just doesn't add up.
Nope. If the pull from the sun is so strong that it can keep us in orbit around it, why doesn't it pull everything off the Earth that isn't stationary?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Why isn't all the water sucked off of it?
Yeah, kinda
Why
like
didn't it drag the
gravity.
sun away?
Gravity.
MRI machine pulls all the magnetics off you at the hospital.
It's just,
like a real big one.
Laughable.
Like an MRI machine, definitely.
Yeah. Why didn't it pull
Just
the moon away from us?
major level.
You know?
I don't know. It's ridiculous. I think the whole thing.
People try to tell you, here's another one.
Programmed. We didn't know anything. We were brought up this way.
High tide, low tide. High tide, low tide occurs a couple of different times a day, but they try to tell you that it's the moon that makes it happen because of its gravitational pull on the earth when it flings around. So if the moon, well, number one, sometimes high tide, low tide happens when the moon's not out, right? And not pulling on the earth. But anyway, besides that, if the moon is strong enough to lift the water off of the earth higher a little, why doesn't it just keep going? Pull it away.
Right.
Yeah, whatever.
So still, what do they get out of? I hate the fact that who the heck are they? I mean, who the heck are they?
They've been in charge forever.
To
man.
only
They're
be
ones
the
with all
one.
the money.
I know, but that is not okay with me. I hate that.
Well,
I hate the fact that they got to know everything and we got to know nothing.
Write your
and I don't even like that term sheeple because none of us had a chance to know, so we were inadvertent sheeple. But people that have a chance to wake up, those are the sheeple. The ones that actually choose not to wake up, I consider them sheeple. But the masses that don't even know they don't know anything and are not even choosing not to know anything, they are definitely not sheeple.
That would be like trying to. It's like trying to change a devout Christian over to Islamic terrorism. I mean, you're not going to be able to do it.
Mr. B,
so,
hang on a second. Mr. B in the room. Mr. B, are you going to try to tell somebody in my chat room, if it's a friend of yours, I don't give a shit, but people in my chat room know better than to look for truth on a .gov website. That's just
no kidding.
That's like a conundrum, man. Come on. You don't find
.org,
truth.
.gov.
You don't find truth on a .gov. You just don't. So, God damn. Some people, I tell you what, statism. Statism is one of the biggest fucking religions. Statism is one of the worst religions that they ever came up with. Statism is just, fuck. My people are better than your people because of where we live on the fucking globe. Globetard. The moon puts pressure on the earth. Really? Really? You believe that, Mr. AK? You believe that? The moon puts pressure on the earth. I don't know about that, man. I don't know about that. The moon rules the night. The moon is the night light. It rules the night. It has its own light. It makes its own light. It's not a reflection off the sun. It's not, it makes its own light. You can do an experiment in your backyard with a plate, 2 plates, one of them covered up by something and one of them out in the open moonlight. And you'll see that the one that's covered up is warmer than the one that's out in the open moonlight. The moon actually puts off a cool light of its own. Go check that out. The moon puts pressure. It doesn't pull anything from anywhere. I don't know, man. You're gonna have to hit me a link on that one, AK. You're gonna have to send me a link on that. I don't know where you found that out. I'm not throwing stones at you, man. I'm just telling you, that's one I've never heard, that it pushes on I've never heard that one. This is why you should have never shortened your name, Mr. B. Who's Mr. B?
I never heard him.
Yeah.
But again, I mean, it's like you're not going to convince anybody to change religions
from his
without
telescope.
I mean, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's just, that's what you were taught. That's what you're going to believe until something comes along and proves to you religion's a control
it's been debunked.
mechanism.
Negatronics or Negatorix, whatever. Who's it been debunked by? Somebody of yours on YouTube, man. Some guy you follow on YouTube has been debunked. Why don't you go do it in your own fucking backyard like I did?
Yeah. Go do it in your own fucking backyard. And read a book that was put in there that you can't change. You can't do your own research on.
Man, that's been debunked, man. The moon doesn't put off a cool light. Yes, it does. Go do the experiment in your backyard and then shut the fuck up. Flat Earth is really changing. It's really growing. It used to be only lonely white people. Now we have gingers, brothers. You wait, this movement's going to blow wide open. That was funny, Mark. Now go back to your troll. Wait till we get our first tranny. A couple of guys that are on Flat Earth, man. A couple of the people that I've seen put some Flat Earth videos out. You got to wonder what they are. I mean, you just got to call them Pat, right? Oh, no, I've seen some weird ones. Anyway. No, it doesn't. Oh, well, okay, it doesn't then, I guess, because you said so. Thanks, guy. I appreciate you verifying that for me. Who's your buddy? Who's your pal? It's not me.
Is it fucking 11 o'clock yet?
No, it's close, though. We got about 3 minutes, man. Just keep giggling.
All right.
That'll pass the time. Well, hey, I tried to do a Flat Earth show, you guys.
You did.
I threw some of my best stuff out there. I was going to start pulling up a bunch of websites and showing you different videos and whatever, but I didn't want to catch no copyright strikes from anybody. So, sorry.
You can go around, and just like that guy said, go to anybody talking about Flat Earth, and these same people will be in there trying to tell everybody they're foolish.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, to all you guys that are trolls out there that you're telling me everything's been debunked or whatever, hey, even a broken clock's right twice a day. But that, that's neither here nor there. So you folks keep believing whatever it is you got to believe. Whatever gets you through your daily grind, that's what I want you to believe. I don't want you to believe something that I say just because I say it, because I'm nobody's leader. I don't want anybody following me. I don't want anybody following me. I'm just here to speak my truth, And you trolls, if you hate what I have to say, then go out there, by all means, make a video channel that tells everybody that I'm full of shit. Will you do that for me, please? Because that'll bring me more viewers than you could ever imagine. So you guys troll
I'm
on.
gonna check out the tomfoolery guy after this is over. I'm gonna check out his stuff.
Yeah, tomfoolery, the International Space Station. Yeah, there's a couple of them that I'm going to try to get back to. I'm glad you enjoy it, Mr. AK. I hope all you guys out there listening got a little giggle out of it sometime or another.
I did.
I'll be right back here on Wednesday night doing another show. It probably ain't going to have any flat Earth in it. It might have a little bit of flat Earth in it.
No.
Just because we're going to have to talk about tonight's show. It
was a one-time thing.
It might have been. No, I don't know if this is going to be a one-time thing or not, man. If I start getting a little frog jumping around behind me, I might have to do some other stuff. So, I might have to strap on a GoPro and take a balloon ride or something. Yeah. That's exactly what I thought, too, when I said that. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and cut this baby boy off a minute early because we're usually 2 minutes late. So, anyway, Lance, thanks very much. Kim, I think you jumped off already. Thank you very much. Lori, if I said something that hurts your feelings, girl, I'm sorry, but
you did. You called her melodramatic.
That's exactly what I heard, man. When somebody starts into my ear and just keeps hollering and hollering and hollering, trying to overtalk me, that's right. Being melodramatic.
On just the Bible, I mean, it's all right.
Yeah, it was uncalled for. I felt it was uncalled for. You don't have to try to overtalk me. I'll give you plenty of time to talk. So, all right, actually, 30 seconds early. Love, peace, and cookies, everybody. See you Wednesday.
Peace and love.